21, I got into a different kind of entanglement with August. And one thing I want to get clear about and clean
is blessing. And I totally gave myself to that relationship for years of my life.
Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book. You know what time it is. I'm back in my business, you understand? Listen, if you're new to the channel, listen. Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book. You know what time it is. Alright then, talking to you guys about the Jada and Will situation. I'm going to break it down, okay? Now I know you guys might have seen a video that I did earlier on. Yes, that was my other folks who are very wise, and I really want to take the time and deconstruct everything that was said by Jada and Will, and I mean everything, okay? If you're new to the channel, do me a favor, make sure you do yourself a favor, like, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for a notification of the uploads. And for those of you who are returnees, make sure you know this, okay? If you're returnees, you are only minerals if you have power, courage, bravery. You understand, yeah? Yeah, you got the kahunas, you understand, yeah? It means to have power, courage, bravery, you understand, and valor. You know what I mean? It means to stand up. That's what it says. The will, okay? The willingness. Not that you do, but the willingness to show courage in the face of a storm, yeah? That's minerals. So if you're that, grab yourself one of these things out here. If you're one of those, grab yourself one of those. For the rest of us, let's get into the conversation. All right, let's go with it. You got the minerals, you got the minerals. All right, cool. Booty da bop, booty da bop, booty da bop. Let's go with it. So, talking about the Jada and the Will situation, I want to read a scripture before I even kill this off. And it says in Proverbs 14 verse 13, even in laughter the heart may ache, and rejoicing may end in grief. And the reason why I brought the scripture is because you see Will in this particular video laughing through it, Jada laughing through it. And even in the laughter, heart may ache. What they're talking about is some really real, transparent things. But, you know, their hearts are clearly aching. Okay, this is why we're having a Red Table Talk, yeah? If this was so simple, the way they had a conversation about the August Alsina situation, it wouldn't have been this way. There is pain, there is hurt, there is grief, there is anger, frustrations, there's all those emotions that are swirling ever so nicely like strawberry on top of an ice cream that is going on between them two, all right? And I think a lot of us saw that in Will's body language and the way that his eyes were and the way he was looking. I think a lot of that played into the scenario as well. Also as well, I wanted to do this as well, like responsibility versus accountability. You know, the state of fact of having a duty to deal with something or having control over someone is where we talk about responsibility. But accountability means to take control and have responsibility for every result and action taken. Only one person can have accountability in your life, okay? You are accountable for every single thing that you do, okay? How you react, how you move, how you talk, regardless of what the person does, you are accountable to you. You understand? Responsibility is how you handle that power to do what you need to do. You understand? You are responsible. It's duty filled. Okay. So let's talk about it. And I want to say this as well. The reason why this Red Table really kicked off is because Jada, okay, is someone who holds everybody else, I would say, not even accountable, but you could say that everybody else accountable. She asks you questions around why do you do what you do? What was the purpose? And how did you come by it? And I think what's interesting is that we see Jada being somewhat accountable, but not really taking full responsibility for the courses of action and decisions that she made. In the way that she actually belittles some of the actions that she does as being healing.
really able to do some really deep healing. You know, and as I came through and started to realize certain things about you and I, he decided to break all.
Okay, and when you term it as healing, we've got no room to question because it's your healing. You understand? And so what it does is that it puts us on a back foot as the audience to say, well, she said it's her healing. What else can we say?
Usually not. You know, that would be something I wouldn't comment on at all.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like it's a situation that I consider private.
I want to say this as well. The whole ethos of this 12 minutes is very, very sharp. What I saw from Jada was this, this is about me, okay? It's about what I did, and it's about what I'm doing, okay? And it's almost not encompassing Will in the situation, yeah? Will's just someone who's asking questions, but this is about me, right? And there was almost, I would say, a selfishness in there when she was talking about the fact that someone made a statement that I didn't make. So I'm now forced to address something I didn't want to address, which is truth, but the truth of the matter is also you cannot dictate how someone came out of their truth. Yeah, August Alsina decided that at that time, regardless of whether I think it was publicity or not, he came out at that time. It was going to come out. In fact, you've had chance to get ahead of the game and you haven't. Okay, you know you've shown us this great transparency between yourself and Will about your marriage and everything like that, and then you get to a point where you know, you don't let us into a situation which is so heavy between yourself and August, yeah? And now he's come out of it after having, it seems like, not much conversation, or there wasn't a conversation since the break-off point. We're not 100% sure, because at the beginning she said, oh, you know, I haven't spoken to August since he broke it off. And at one point she was like, haven't really spoken to August in quite a while. So I wasn't sure, like, you've been very specific in one area, then you've become very general in another area. Sometimes that can indicate that something's not quite true, and you know you're forgetting that you made a story up. You know what I mean? Sometimes, that's not always. I'm just kind of admitting that there. And so I said, obviously, the fact that she said that statement that it wasn't me that made it, it was a little bit of pride and also a bit of control. Okay, that she wanted to control the narrative. You know, and the fact that obviously as well later on we hear her say that Will can't give her permission.
You know, the only person that can give permission in that particular circumstance is myself.
Yeah. We know that this is a woman who likes to state her independence, right? That she did what she did. That's her action. But then it's almost as if like she wanted to, you know, like someone made a statement for me that wasn't what I made. And it's like, you know, it's almost as if the person has removed the option of your chance of explaining it first. Not to explain it, but to explain it first. You know, it's almost like when he gets his story out before yours, now, everything's gonna be dictated by what he said, right? So it's almost like there's an annoyance with the fact that he got in there first, rather than actually being annoyed with what he actually said in totality. Because we see later on, she tries to explain the reason why he did what he did. So there doesn't seem to be as much animosity towards what he did, but the fact that he got there first without having a conversation with her. The next thing she says, when Will began to speak, and she dropped her head and said, oh, like as if like, you're absolutely right, as if the biggest problem was the fact that, you know, the biggest problem was the fact that obviously they didn't put out a statement, right? Because obviously the next thing I said is that Will says, we didn't say nothing. So Jada's response to her body language is like, oh, you're right, you're like, this is what I'm trying to, like, it's almost like, this is what I've been trying to say, like, we didn't say nothing, da, 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 da. But August did, yeah? And so it's almost as if, you know, with Will obviously bopping in and saying, we specifically said nothing, not Jada, not Will Smith, not the Smiths, nothing, is to put up this united front. And I think one of the things I've said is that you can't be united in falsity, you can only be united in truth. United in falsity is a temporary truce to war, right? It's like war, a temporary truce of war is to falsities. It's not truth. When we come to a truth and understanding, war ceases. We work together. At this moment, if they're not united in truth, it's going to be war eventually, yeah? So when he said, we specifically said nothing, but not Jada, not Smith, not Smiths, it was to present this united front. We are in this together. We're all in this together. Once me know anything. Okay. All right. So and you know, then she goes on to say as well, people's feelings were involved. She doesn't like how it came to be. Right. So now here's the thing. There are people's feelings involved. Whose feelings are involved? Jada, Will, August. Now, if Will gave her no permission, and she's the only one that can give permission, then the only feelings that are important are Jada's and August. Okay? Now, when she's saying about people's feelings are involved, who is she talking about? Because she's not talking about herself. I should have said, first person, my feelings are involved. She said, people's feelings are involved. Who? See, I don't think the thing is feelings. I think when you say, oh, people's feelings are involved, there are reputations on the line. There are our ideologies of what people think of us are on the line. Our kids are watching are on the line. You know what I'm saying? People who look up to us as a monogamous couple are on the line. But feelings, whose feelings? It can only be yours and August. And August clearly feels like it was the right time for him to release this information because of his feelings. So if you're not saying you, whose feelings are you talking about, really? You know, because I think the problem was that this wasn't supposed to come out. Obviously, we know that already. And we know that obviously potentially he might have released this because of the rumors or the fact that he's releasing a song. You know, but it's interesting that obviously when it says obviously that, well, when Will begins to speak, saying specifically we didn't say anything, and then she says obviously people's feelings are involved, Will began to rub the table, right? And I believe that Will began to rub the tables because the feelings that she's talking about don't involve Will's in this sense. But there seems to be some blowback from the situation because later on we get to hear Will say, you know, I'm gonna get you back. And she said, oh, you really got me back.
There.
Yeah. I'm gonna get you back first, and then
You gonna get me back. I think you got me back. I think you...
And he's like, I can't wait to say, he laughs and jokes. And then later on, you know, she said obviously something, and he goes, yeah, no, I'm not above that. I'll get people back. So Will's intent on getting her back, you know, getting her, doing her one. This is what I'm saying to you, like, I feel like there was not, and I'll get onto this later on, I don't want to skip ahead. There was obviously clear communication of what could and couldn't happen within a relationship when it comes to open relationship or when it comes to you doing your thing, you might do my thing. Clearly. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to break it down where I think there was some kind of trouble that happened. Okay? I'm going to break it down. You know, Jada said obviously she felt like it was private and that also, you know, Will says obviously Black Twitter got involved. Well, hold on a minute. We didn't get involved. We didn't enter your relationship. Again, this is what I call shifting the blame. Again, to provide this unified front. But actually, you're shifting the blame. We never got involved in your business. Your business got spread by August Alsina. You need to be You need to be put in the appropriate feelings of grievance towards August, rather than defending them and saying, oh, I know how he feels, as Jada was saying. Don't blame us, Black Twitter. Don't blame us, the community. Don't blame us, the internet mob. Because as far as we're concerned, we had no access to your life. You decided, or so I say, August decided to reveal that part of your life, and now we are having our say. Now, you know that's the truth. That's what happens, you know. But as far as we didn't enter your relationship, it got revealed to us, you know. And so that failure to identify a culprit is a bit like Adam in the Bible, where he fails to say it was he fails to identify the true culprit. Instead, he blames his wife for eating the fruit and giving him some, when really it should have been the fact that Adam, you yourself, should take responsibility and deal with the issue. That lack of responsibility and the lack of taking accountability of his own actions is a key reason as to why he decides to flip the script and say, God, it's the woman you gave me. See how Adam flips it? Same way that Jada and Will flip it. Oh, Black Twitter's got nothing. We didn't get this news. We didn't get this news by snooping around. We got this news because somebody decided to put a whole 1 hour clip of their interview and stress for 5 minutes that they slept with you, Jada. Ain't got that's not to do with us. Identify the culprit. Identify the true culprit. Don't use Black Twitter as a scapegoat for what actually happened. You know? You know, actually, obviously, this thing was minuscule. And I'm like, blood, where? Where's minuscule? What's minuscule about the fact that August Alsina was 20-something, came to you for help, you were codependent, you used him for your self-esteem, all the while, you know, there was inappropriate behavior, there was sexual behavior, let's say sex, intimacy, and then, you know, you go back to your husband. It just looks like Augustina's been used. Now, I'm not saying that she did use Augustina. What I am saying, though, is that it looks like that, and it can be perceived like that. If you listen to August's interview, you'll hear him speak quite candidly about the fact he would die for Jada. Let me tell you something. That's a part of codependency. I'm going to be real with you. When you have this strong connection with this individual simply because of a savior complex, and we'll deal with that in another video, but you know, that all plays a part in the reason why I believe there was such an intense feeling of love from August to Jada.
I devoted myself to it. I gave my full self to it, so much so to the point that I can die right now. And
that she came to the table to be transparent, right? But then later on she uses the word entanglement. Now, she might have meant real entanglement. And if she meant entanglement, I want to be very, very distinct and clear. If we're talking about the entanglement that I saw Anyala say is entanglement, we need another red table talk. Because you ain't going to leave it there. Entanglement is deep. We're talking about toxicity. We're talking about codependency. We're talking about, I would say, emotional distress and abuse. I would say that this requires a deeper discussion on around the red table. That means that if you're telling me entanglement and you really mean that entanglement, then you're talking about something that's so hefty, so emotionally deep, we need you back on the red table. 12 minutes ain't enough. In fact, you need to come and describe exactly what you're talking about so we know exactly how to avoid. But if you're talking about entanglement, the fact that you just got involved in a situation, then that's slightly different. You know what I mean? But again, because you didn't clarify that again, you use entanglement to soften the word. And I always say this as well, people do this when they don't want to take accountability or they want to deny their responsibility in the situation. They try to downplay what happened. And actually, codependency, people do this all the time, right? But they downplay some of the events that are happening within their family simply because, you know, they don't want to make it seem as bad because they want to still have a handle and control over the scenario so they can look like a savior in the situation. Cool. And then she obviously said, this is a very personal journey made public. You know, and it's like, again, firing shots at the public, but we didn't have nothing to do with it. It was August to release this information. We didn't ask for this. You know, and even though she said it's a personal journey that she went on, Will is not seen as a personal journey. On several occasions, Will says transgress. She says, I don't see it as transgressing.
That's what I said.
An entanglement.
Yes. Yes.
A relationship.
He corrects her on entanglement as relationship, and then you hear him talk about the fact that obviously he wants to get her back. Also, that we see it also as well later on where, you know, Will was saying, I think you need to be very honest and open with us. We see several instances where Will is putting some pressure on Jada to stress something. And for me, I think it's because something was broken. Something was broken. Like, there was an agreement that was put into place that seems to be either verbal, whatever you want to call it, and it was broken. Because the way he's acting is as if he never had, the way he's acting as if they never broke up for a period of time. Because all these comments like, I broke up with you, you know, and I thought I was never going to speak to you again. It's almost a self-defense because why I say that? Because the way he brings the venom, if you're over this, if this was 4.5 years ago, the way you're over it, the way he said, listen, at one point I really thought I was going to be over with you, man. I really thought we were done. Like the energy you're bringing, I was going to be over with you.
And we decided.
I was done with your ass.
Yeah, you kicked me to the curb.
I was done with you.
Yeah.
Marriages have that, though.
Yeah,
Marriages have that.
Yeah. I was going to be done with you. It's like, whoa, like, bro, okay. What's that about? Why's the heat there? It's still fresh. 4.5 years ago, whatever, it's still hurting. It's still there. Yeah? Because I feel like some things were not addressed at the period of time. To state that it was because of his health and the fact that he added, you know, the fact that he said that it makes us aware that, again, August was in a vulnerable position. Now, one of the things that people have been saying is that, you know, Jada is predatory. And at first I didn't really accept it. I said, only in the context of the fact that he came for help. Not because of his age, but because of the help. But had he been the same age, most people would not be complaining. But here's the thing. 20 years older, but he came for help. Therefore, he put himself into, and then you added him into the family as a son rather than added as someone who just you're seeing, yeah? And that immediately put him at a certain mindset that I'm your son. Therefore, there will be an abuse of power and position when you act as a mum and then make sexual moves. Yeah? I'm not saying that August didn't make a move. I'm just saying that as a mum, it will look like you've taken advantage of August Alsina. It will look like you had, you know, there's an power imbalance, which there is because you are 20 years older. You are the mum. You were the one looking after him. You were the one giving him the care and made yourself into savior complex. So evidently, there was a power dynamic that was against him. Therefore, this is a situation where this shouldn't be happening. And there's going to be some type of abuse eventually that will happen sexually. And I'm not talking about just rape or anything, but I'm talking about factors taking advantage of someone, they're not realizing the deepness of the fact that, hey, me, myself, that I was in a situation where actually I don't think I had the best mindset, emotionally, spiritually, to be able to make sensible decisions about entering into a relationship with you. Obviously, he was going to be done with her ass, but there was no real communication between the two of them. There was no conversation, nothing was said. And it's as if that none of them were... it's as if obviously that Will was saying that, listen, look, you know, I really was gonna be done with you. Like, I don't know what changed, but something was gonna be done with you. And even later on, they say, you know what, I really was gonna be. I don't know what it was, but you know, we're back here. But I really was done. So it's like something for Will was over. Yeah, for Will, something was over. And I think it's interesting because the way that Jada's talking, it's almost, I know she obviously said about her independence, like she don't have to ask permission from Will, but the way she got towards the end is as if she knew she made a mistake. We do know that because of August, he's a very young guy. But I wonder if there's something greater here in terms of a betrayal of a certain code of ethics that they have. Look, even in open relationships, again, they say that they're not saying that they are in an open relationship, but I'm just going to put this out here. Even in open relationships, there are rules to this. And so when the rules are broken, there is pain, there is betrayal, there's an emotional torment that happens because we know that rules were flouted, okay?
Yes.
A relationship.
Laughing is a defense mechanism, yeah? You see, he laughs quite a bit in the actual thing. I want to break some things down. Laughter can be a way to reduce the feeling of pain, suffering associated with a trigger. The trigger here would be the breakup. Now, you see later on, Will says, I don't want to be doing this around here again.
You go
Through some stuff, you know. I don't want to go through this no more.
Yeah, no, I don't either.
Yeah.
Right? So there's something that is traumatic for him. This whole series of things that's gone on is traumatic. No matter how much he may laugh about it, it is traumatic. And that's why he says, I don't want to go through this all over again. It's too painful, right? All right, he says, you know, a nervous laugh, I want to say this, a nervous laugh is to vacate having to confront uncomfortable emotions. So although Will is a funny guy and he's all about being comedic, when you are feeling like when laughter becomes a facade, it's about covering up the uncomfortable emotions you feel. What is that? Pain. You know, the fact that you might have cheated on me, feeling about those things, that betrayal happened, my trust is broken. All those things are going to be causing maybe Will to become nervously laughing because he wants to confront, he doesn't want to confront the emotions he feels. It can also make you look like you're over it and comfortable for the other person to talk about when you're hurt. What I mean by that is sometimes you can laugh because you want the person to feel comfortable enough to explain their side of things of what happened so that you can get your story, right? So sometimes you laugh to make it seem as if you're okay when really you're not okay, but you're laughing because you want the other person to feel comfortable enough to share their story. So laughter has its place. You know, sometimes laughter is good, and then sometimes laughter is covering up a certain feeling of emotion, right? So in Genesis 1 verse 26 says, Sarah said, God has brought me laughter, and everyone who heard it about this will laugh with me. Sometimes the laughter is a way to deflect from the core issue so that you don't have to deal with the emotional work that goes with it.
A very difficult time.
Yeah.
And we decided...
I was done with your ass.
Yeah, you kicked me to the curb.
I was done with you.
Yeah.
It's interesting that she said you kicked me to the curb because her hands were literally like this, right? And then Will's hands were in between his thighs, right? And it was really odd because Will's obviously quite an animated person, but you see at this point in time, Will's hands are in literally between his thighs. The guy is not feeling that, like not feeling this conversation. He's not at all comfortable. He's not at ease. He's not, you know, he's not settled. This is something that someone, when you put your hands on your knees like that, almost like you're trying to restrain yourself. But for me, it's more of a case of the fact that there is pain. And it's sort of like, if you release your arms, it's almost like you're opening up to the pain. But if you do this, I'm making myself small. A bit like the fetal position, right? You won't hurt me if I'm in this position. Do you know what I mean? I can't be hurt if I'm in this position, psychologically. Her, in her mind, they were done. Like, let me be honest with you, there's some other points I'm going to release. Jada thought she was done. Will didn't. This is why I feel like there's a disconnect in how they're feeling.
And I'll figure out how to make myself happy.
Well, at that particular point in time, it was indefinite.
Yeah, I really...
Jada said I was done. Will said I was done, but not done. What I mean by that is that Jada meant what she said. Oh, if we're done, I'm done. I'm gone. Will said it, but didn't fully mean it. You understand? That's why he wants to do tit for tat, because he didn't really fully mean it. If he fully meant it, he wouldn't be doing it, unless he's just childish. But if he fully meant you know what, go and make yourself happy, which is what he said. He said, listen.
Going to separate for a period of time, and you go figure out how to make yourself happy, and I'll figure out how to make myself happy.
Well, at that particular point in time, it was indefinite.
Right? And he said, go and make yourself happy. That is a passive-aggressive kind of move, to put your hand like that. Almost aggressive to say, go and make yourself happy. Right? And this is why I feel that the contract was breached. Go and make yourself happy does not mean go and get another man. Or maybe it does. Or some people would. Go and make yourself happy, maybe in Will's head wasn't translating to go and get a relationship. which is why I believe that he did tit for tat. He probably thought to himself, oh, you did that with August, I'm gonna get mine, right? You know, so it's interesting that obviously that he does that pointing finger about, you know, go make yourself happy, and the result of it, I don't think he was ready for. I think that's where the emotion in his eyes that we see comes from. It's the pain of the fact that, listen, this is not what the doctor ordered. This is not what he was thinking was going to happen. He was not about that, right? And then Jada makes it clear it was an indefinite break. And then Will agrees. I want to make a distinction because we're going to see something very clear. She says, we were definitely broken up.
I really felt like we could be over. You know?
We were over.
And then what did you do, Jay?
She wants to make that very clear. Number one, to make sure that August is not a home wrecker, but I don't think any of us thought that. Two, also as well, to make it very clear she didn't cheat, okay? And also to make very, very clear they were done. And Will agrees. Listen, Will even says, yeah, you're right. And he goes on to say, look, two people have different ideas. This is where I think the pain comes from. And I remember I was in a relationship and I had a separation with a person. But I had declared to the person, and they accepted and heard what I said, and we said it on more than one occasion on different parts of the year. So listen, if you get with somebody, let me know, then I can move forward. But I'm waiting for you so that we can move forward, right? Person said, yeah. Okay, cool. Come to see that obviously the person didn't let me know they were doing a thing. I found out late, and then when I realized the person didn't inform me, I was like, what's that about? Like, you could have just let me know so I can just go on my business, right? And the truth is the same thing here. You know, it's like it sounds like Will and Jada had some type of agreement, but there was a breach in the code of conduct. There was a breach in it. There was a breach in what was supposed to happen in your finding happiness. You understand? Maybe that's not what he meant when he said find happiness. And then the way like he goes, what did you do, Jada? And he's looking down, he swallows hard, and then he looks up. It's interesting. And the way the question is framed, okay, it's as if she did something wrong. So when he says, what did you do, Jada? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like almost like I'm questioning, like, what did you do? What did you do now? What did you do now? I'm like the parent asking you this question. And it's almost as if I said, we had an agreement, but what did you go and do? We had an agreement, but what did you go and do? You decided you were going to do your own thing, right? Yeah. And that's the way he asked the question. That's why I said to you that it feels like there was a betrayal that happened of a mutual agreement. Because relationships are about what? Mutual agreements. Yeah? We agree on certain stuff. Yeah? But as time goes on, I got into a different type of entanglement. And it's interesting because she goes, type of entanglement. Not that she got into an entanglement, she got into a type of entanglement. And for me, that's really interesting because type means variation. That means there's been more than one. I got into a different type of entanglement. So have you been in an entanglement before? Was there an entanglement before August? Was you in an entanglement during that break of 4 to 4.5 years or whatever you were, or whatever, however long you were separated for? Was there a break then? Was there something else that happened? Do you know what I mean? Because this is a different type of entanglement, meaning there was another variation potentially. Yeah. Jada actually explains that Will didn't give her permission, didn't give August. Whoa. And then Jada actually explains about the fact that she didn't give Will the out permission. She said, obviously, I'm the only one that can give permission, which is really interesting because it's the way that she says it, right? Because, let me tell you something. If a man is going to accuse me of giving him free passage, yeah, to go and do what he's going to do with my wife, yeah, separate or not, blood, if someone comes to ask me, did I say it? I'm going to say, yeah. But if I didn't say it, I'm going to blow my top. What do you mean someone told you that I gave permission for my wife to get blown her back out? No, never that, right? But we don't see Will ever say that. We see Jada defending him. And I think it's a great deflection tool by Jada and Will to stop people asking that question. Now, if Will had come out and said, no, it's not true, that would call August a liar. If Will had come out and said, yes, I said it, that would make Will this schmuck. And so what the best thing to do is not for Will to describe it at all, but for Jada to say, hey, no, who can give me permission? I mean, I'm the only one that can give permission. It's only me and August were in it. Who can give me permission? Yeah, but we already know that you're in a situation. We're not asking about that. We're saying about who gave their blessing. Was it Will? Did Will give the blessing to August to press forward? That's what we're trying to find out. You understand? And another point also to make is that if they were separated, what was the whole need for him to give permission? They were separated. You understand? Like, if they were separated, why was there a whole conversation about permission? Why would August need permission to enter if Will, was separated from Jada? That means that, bruv, he can do anything he wants. But suddenly there was a need for permission. Something doesn't seem right.
So I'm in the Jada position right now. So,
Okay.
you during that time.
Jada position now, right? And he's shifting her seat, and she follows suit by shifting in her seat as well. And she goes, okay. And you can see that she's not really comfortable, I guess, with being in a hot seat. I don't think she's used to being told to take account for her behavior. I think she's got away with it a lot. I think because of her enabling behavior, I wonder if there was codependency between herself and Will, or this is something that she just discovered about herself recently. Because evidently, it seems that Will's rejection has caused her to go where she feels she needs to be needed. This is why she went after August. The rejection of Will by saying, I was never going to talk to you again, forced her to go and take on August and make him codependent, and make herself the savior of his life.
It had been so long since I felt good.
And the whole point is this, she really hadn't felt good for a long time. That's what she said, and I'm guessing she meant obviously during the marriage with Will that she never really felt happy. And I wonder what kind of work that's had to be done around that area to kind of bring to life, that area, and try to resurrect that area of their relationship. Not only that, there's I would call it a Superman complex or a savior complex, right? And that means the need to save others in order to fulfill ego, the unhealthy sense of responsibility or belief that everyone lacks capacity to successfully perform a task. You seek people out who desperately need help and assist them, often sacrificing their own need. People often try to fix a negative sense of themselves that arose in the early life. It means person doesn't address the madness of their own problems. It comes back to bite them. So obviously with Jada, you see here obviously the need to save others in order to fulfill the ego, the unhealthy sense of responsibility or belief that everyone lacks the capacity to successfully perform a task. That's what she did to Olsina. As she saw that he had an addiction, she became his savior, her messiah. And when I heard him speak about how, Jada had done, it sounded like messiah complex. The fact that she had done this, she had done that, she had done this, she had done that, And I was like, whoa, like in his interview on Red Table Talk, I was like, blood, is Jada your mom, your confidant, your spiritual partner?
You called me and literally broke down about it. I was like, that was really a reality check for me, because
the law is our established principles that are laid down, which is why I say to you that obviously when we talk about obviously the transgression that Will was talking about, again, the wording is very, very key. He used the word transgression, which means to break the law, to flout the law. Do you know what I mean? To commit a sin because you've transgressed the law, you've broken it. And it's like, what law are you talking about here? Are we talking about marriage, or talking about your words being bond? And I think it's more to do with the words being bond as to why he feels that there was a betrayal of the trust or betrayal by her. Hence why the pain in his eyes. It's not necessarily who she did it with, but the fact of the matter is there were certain laws that were in place potentially between them two that she broke. And it's like a codependent person definitely would say something like this. If they didn't realize they were codependent, and when they came out of the situation, they realized, whoa, I'm a codependent person. That's what she's talking about, the healing part, right? She even mentioned that she was codependent. I believe that she learned about her codependency. But in the midst of it, she dragged another person into a loop. And because of her savior complex that is codependency, you see, codependency is about being your self-esteem being attached to others, to others' situation, right? You're attaching your emotions to the fact that you're able to help somebody, right? And your self-esteem comes from the fact that so long as that you're able to help that person under your control, your vice, then you feel esteemed, right? You need to be a fixer-upper of something, yeah? You need to stay in relationships that are broken and hurting. You need to continue in the places where people are not able to do something for themselves because it helps you feel good about yourself when you're able to help them through their issues. August Alsina was an addict. He was an addict because of what he was taking, right? And so Jada saw an opportunity here to become a savior. She saw an opportunity to have a messiah complex, to get the adulation and the accolades from helping someone. Her esteem was about to be esteemed because of the fact that she helped someone. Yeah? Helping people are not bad, by the way, guys.
Yeah. I'm going to get you back first, and then...
You gonna get me back. I think you got me back. I think you...
Will has retaliated, okay? Has retaliated, all right? And as he's retaliated, you know, Jada's feeling the guilt and the oppression of her own behavior, seen as the fact that August was also young. So it's not only that she did something, but also the guy that she did it with, she's in a position of power, and the power dynamics are stating this wouldn't have been correct. And she's feeling this weight of guilt maybe, because the way she's addressing Will almost towards the end is as if like, oh, you know what, I know I've done dirt and I'm trying to be apologetic for that. But at the same time, I don't want to agree that I did something wrong. I don't want to take accountability for the fact I did something wrong. I just want to just be able to say, hey, you know what, I know what I did. Don't tell me what I did. I'm going to rock with you. I know what I did. Do you know what I'm saying? You can't tell me what I did. But in certain things, I will have to disagree, or I don't agree that, right? And that's what Jada does, right? This whole entire time. She seemingly looks like she's taking accountability and responsibility by explaining her behavior, but how much accountability was taken? There wasn't any address to the fact that, look, this could have been perceived as being predatory. There wasn't that. And I think they both worked together to make sure they filled a narrative that wasn't predatory. You understand? Because they've both seen Black Twitter and everything like that, right? The fact that I'm speaking to you again is a miracle, and Jada laughs.
Like, the fact that I'm speaking to you again is a miracle.
I would agree. agree.
But...
Right? But I think what's important again is the fact that Will's stressing the importance of the fact that he felt like he weren't going to talk to her ever again. But at one point he says, obviously, you know, that he wasn't really sure. Like, not that he wasn't sure. At one point he talks, and he's not talking in such definitives. Only towards the end does he talk in the absolute definitives, the fact that they were literally done. But earlier on, he makes an allusion that he himself wasn't fully done, but Jada says, we were done. So all of a sudden now it's come to the end, and now he says, we were fully done. It would have taken a miracle for me to speak to you. I don't know if that's fully true. And I was like, bro, like, you can at least show a little bit more enthusiasm. 25 years, like, bro, like, man's doing Lifeblood. And then they go on to do this fist bump about bad marriages for life. Let me be honest with you. I don't like to pronounce anything of my life like that negatively. But we do sometimes joke, oh, I'm dead. So that's kind of the same thing. But here's the thing I'm talking about. They made an agreement to make a joke about the fact bad marriage for life. I don't personally think it was as bad as it is. I think it's really bad because we're watching it. But in their own secret place, they might have made a joke like this. In fact, they must have done because they both knew it. Do you know what I'm saying? In their own secret place of their relationship, they felt like that was funny for them. You know? So I'm not going to bust them down for the fact that said bad marriage for life. At first I was like, what? Y'all blessing bad marriages for life? But actually I guess it also does speak to the fact that, oh, wait a minute. Bad marriages for life. What does that actually mean? What does that entail for the rest of us? That means that, bro, like what you're saying is you're celebrating the fact that your relationship ain't great. You're telling us your marriage isn't great at the moment. And you're saying in it for life. And so there can be two instances taken. One can be like, blood, that doesn't make sense. I'm going to cuss it. Or it can be like, well, actually, they said the bad marriage for life. They're saying, maybe they could be saying that, but come what may, we'll stick it through. And actually, here Will say this. When he goes later on and says, you know, I know you didn't believe me when I said I can love you through anything. Here's my thing. We know already that Will divorced his first wife, so I don't think he was ever going to get married again. Jada also said as well that we will sit on 2 episodes out of the room, but we will still be married. Okay? These people are dedicated to the image and the language of staying together, but actually loving one another. Big boy question. I don't know. But what's interesting, I want to end it on this last note. That, you know, Will asked Jada, you know, I know you didn't think I could, you know, love you this depth and courage and with this capacity. And he goes, how am I doing? And the tears that are beginning to rise up in Jada's face, he says, obviously fucking brilliant.
I didn't know if you would be willing to find the deep capacity to love me.
Yeah. How am I doing?
You're doing great.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah, you're awesome.
That is tears of somebody who has been forgiven of something. That's what it looks like to me. I know many people are thinking to themselves, she went on a mad one, but I'm thinking to myself, those look like tears. I've seen those tears before. Those tears that well up in your eye are like someone who has been forgiven of something huge and you're crying. This is why I'm saying that I feel like there's another narrative here that maybe Will responded by doing something real stupid. I mean, probably cheating himself, and still there's guilt on Jada's part, the fact that she did this thing first. You know what I mean? Because hers now coming out. And we've heard rumours about Will and, you know, Charlie Farzan and with whatever her name is, I don't know. But some other people as well. Margaret, Robert or whatever, Robbie, or whatever her name is, man. You know what I'm But I wanted to end on that note that, listen, what's interesting about this couple is the fact that I really believe there's something deeper going on, like we can all see. But the laughter that they had wasn't for me one of, I'm over it. This is laughter that is to guide and to cover up pain and to not be truthful about how you really, really feel. I think these two are, dedicated to an image, and we see there's dysfunction in it. And the fact that Willow said, I observe that, you know what, that I don't think it's monogamous relationships for me, lets me know that she's observed a dysfunctional aspect of relationships when it comes to monogamy. She's actually the evidence or the witness to the fact that potentially there is that monogamy isn't the cause, monogamy is not what's in the relationship. As she's seen from her parents, there are people coming and going. You feel me? And the ideology is that there is probably one or no perfect one, no relationship partner, that is gonna be able to supply all your needs or whatever she's thinking. But she's observed something, Willow. She's observed something that has guided her mind to think monogamy ain't the one. Do you get me? So yeah, guys, make sure you like, share, subscribe, click on that bell button for notification. Remember, if you are Mineral Gang, the willingness to show courage in the face of a storm, if that's you, listen, I don't want nobody that's not about that. If you're about the Mineral Gang, you understand? That you got the courage, the valor, the power to do this, then listen, grab yourself one of these hoodies, man, and get a part with the Mineral Gang. Don't forget, we've got a live on Wednesday as well, guys. Appreciate you. Still locked, stay loaded. More love.